If you were paying attention to the news at all this weekend, you saw this story. A bus in India carrying a whole bunch of people and a whole bunch of lithium-ion batteries caught fire. 20 people were killed. The bus was burned out. It looks like what it was is some sort of a collision with a motorcycle triggered an explosion in the fuel tank. That was bad enough. On the actual bus, though, there were about $50,000 worth of cell phones, each one with a lithium-ion battery all by itself. That extreme heat, which would have been caused by the explosion from the fuel tank going on this bus, that type of extreme heat is really, really damaging to lithium-ion batteries, makes everything worse. These things get exposed to extreme heat. They go into what's called thermal runaway. If you've got these lithium-ion batteries close to each other, then you've got one heating up, causing another to heat up, causes a chain reaction. It just makes everything worse. And one of the things to keep in mind when you see a fire that's caused by lithium-ion batteries, especially the more batteries there are, the worse it is. The bigger the battery cell, the worse that it can be. Because these things don't just light up and burn out. You know, you set something on fire in a bus, I don't know, a piece of wood or part of the bus, it's going to light up and then it's probably going to go out. These lithium-ion batteries, they're like almost like a never-ending fuel cell. They are ending, of course, but once they catch fire, once they start, once they go into that thermal runaway, these lithium-ion batteries can burn and continue to burn for hours, even as authorities, fire departments dump water onto these things, which is the only way to try to deal with it. Again, they continue to fire, they continue to ignite, they continue to explode. It's just something that really kind of runs away and becomes a really big problem. We saw one of these in a boat accident from last year, lithium-ion battery pack from an e-bike. Once it caught fire, it took about 4 hours for that thing to burn out, for all the energy basically to dissipate out of that thing. Again, once they get hot, they go into what's called thermal runaway. They overheat. You got smoke coming out of it, you got explosion coming out, you got literally flames coming out of these things when they go into this thermal runaway, and they last 4 hours. And again, it's probably what you were dealing with here. You know, it was bad enough that the bus caught fire, it was bad enough there was a fuel explosion, but once that heat, that extreme heat hit the actual lithium-ion batteries, that thing probably burned for a couple of hours, and unfortunately it killed a couple of people. It's bad luck, probably really just kind of a perfect storm, but again, if you're dealing with lithium-ion batteries, you got to keep them away from that extreme heat. Obviously, it couldn't happen here. It's a real shame, but it's not that surprising. We're going to see more of this type of thing. Lithium-ion batteries are everywhere. If you've got a cell phone or you've got an iPad or a laptop, an Apple Watch, you have one right now, and all of them can be very dangerous. And the bigger the item, the bigger the fuel cell, the bigger the lithium-ion battery, the more energy that thing packs, and the more dangerous it can be if they're damaged, exposed to the elements. Everybody's got to be real careful. It almost feels like this one probably couldn't have been avoided, but it's a real shame. If you're dealing with lithium-ion batteries, you got to be careful, keep yourself safe.